right, hailing from land settlement in Williamsfield, Manchester, Edward Boucher Jr. discovered his love for the French language at Manchester High School. So after pursuing a degree in French and International Relations at UWI Mona, he moved to France in 2002 on the Teaching Assistance Program. And well, today, his employment stands firmly at the International Community School in Paris as head of grade 7.
All right, he's the school's UNESCO Coordinator, and he boasts of his accomplishments as the founder of the first Association of Jamaican Nationals in France, which serves as support for the ever-growing community. Joining us this morning from Paris, where the time is now 13:53 or thereabout, it's president of the Jamaica Association in France, Edward Boucher, now Boucher Jr. Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, bonjour Dennis, bonjour Yendi.
Bonjour.
Well, first of all, I mean, when I saw the name on paper, I thought in Jamaica he must have been Boucher, but nobody's going to call you Boucher. Tell us a little bit about that and going and becoming Boucher.
Well, you know what? I was born Boucher, but then I became Boucher in France. Boucher actually means to butcher.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably where my love of French started, when I discovered that my name was actually French.
All right. Take us back to life in Manchester. What was that like, and going to Manchester High, a great school,
yes,
and getting in and falling in love with French?
Life in Manchester, those were the glory days, you know. It was close to nature. It was enjoying the real Jamaican culture. It's ring games on Sundays. It's going to the pipe for water. It's all those things mixed with the fact that, you know, we had to be serious about schoolwork. And so at Manchester High School, we had a very robust language program at the time. And we had a very inspiring teacher, a French teacher called Adair Dyer. She died 2 years ago. But she really inspired us to, you know, learning French and to be passionate about the language. And so here I am now, sort of reaping some of those benefits.
You know what's interesting, Edward? I always say a teacher can literally make or break the future of a child, right? Yeah. And here it is that you are so inspired but with the French program at your school, and here you are now as a teacher teaching, knowing the impact that your French teacher had on you, and know that you're in the teaching space. How do you go in each day with these children, just knowing the weight that you are carrying in your hands?
Well, I remember my teacher told me that wherever in life you go, you should always try to leave a mark on your on that place. And I've always, you know, used this as a philosophy. And so I always try to leave some positive mark, whether it's on my school, whether it's in the community here, for the Jamaican communities, etc. I've always, you know, kept that challenge with me. And in the classroom, I remember my teacher back then, it was in the 1990s, she was using technology in the classroom and causing us to fall in love with the subject. And now we are here like 20, 30 years later talking about technology in the classroom, when, you know, she used to walk with this old cassette recorder, and, you know, she would bring the tape. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But her creativity just like influenced us to fall in love with the subject and the language, and to want to continue to, you know, inspire others as well.
You know, I can't help but wonder, obviously you are teaching in France, and you're not just the French teacher, but you are their Jamaican teacher who is teaching them. First of all, how you say aki in French? Second of all, do you teach them up? Say it?
Le aki.
Le aki. All right. And then do you teach them, are they curious about Jamaican culture? Do you, you know, bring in a bit of your Jamaican flair in the classroom as well?
Well, you know what? I had to kick out 2 students 2 weeks ago because they came in and started swearing, and I was like, what are you doing? And they were like, what does that mean, sir? So
I'm Jamaican, sir.
Yeah, they Google, they spend hours Googling information about Jamaica online, and they come into the classroom and they ask me things, and I'm like, I remember 2 years ago, one came in and they asked me, sir, what does it mean anything too black no good?
Wow.
Where did you find that expression? You know?
Wow.
So they are really curious about the Jamaican language. They're curious about the Jamaican culture. And I mean, I have to say that I'm like a superstar in my school because the way they treat you, the way they greet you, it's like you're a permanent star. And that's because of the Jamaican flair, you know, the Jamaican flavor.
I was thinking exactly that, because you're a black man living in Paris, but you're not. Yes. There are a lot of black people who come from North Africa. You know, they're coming from the Francophone world. You know, but what in terms of your French, because you didn't come there speaking Parisian French either. You know, right. What special did you bring from your experience of France, coming from Jamaica, which is not Francophone, to now this space in Paris, and how are you making a difference?
To be honest with you, I thought that, I think that has been an advantage to a certain extent. I remember even once I went to rent an apartment and the welcome was very cold, and the landlord was like, where in Africa you're from? And I was like, oh no, I'm not from Africa, I'm actually Jamaican. And instantly the attitude changed, and they were so happy to get a Jamaican tenant. And like, there is that positive reputation that Jamaica has in France. It might not be the case in other countries, but here in France, it's still a positive attitude. They really see it as something exotic, and they do treat you a little bit differently to maybe Africans or even other Caribbean nations. So that's one advantage that I've been proud of. And this has carried over into my developing the association and even Jamfete, which is about promoting Brand Jamaica here in France, waving the Jamaican flag, you know, introducing them to the Jamaican food, because, I mean, there's Jamaican music everywhere, but the food and the history and the different games and things like that, we've now been trying to introduce those things to them, and the reception has been incredible.
We're going to have to definitely continue this conversation another time, because just to talk about the work of the association. Yes. But thank you so much for joining us this morning.
No, he probably is there doing, you know, with the key, you play a D,
yeah.
Stocky.
you have to francophone it.
You have to French it up, you know? Thank you so much. That was Edward Boucher Jr., President of the Jamaica Association in France. TK is on standby with the morning news.
Oui.
Soleil. So after the break. Soleil or the sun?
Sun, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well.